Like, by the way, if you're not friendly to me, I could go to the other shop.
Yeah.
But like, that just doesn't come into their heads.
No, because they know that the other shop is just as unfriendly.
Yeah, exactly. It's all the same. Doesn't
Like,
matter.
where are you going to go, lady? It's the Germany Experience, the podcast about life in Germany as seen through the eyes of outsiders. Welcome to it. Thanks for listening. Let's say you're one of these people who find social media very noisy or you don't use it, but you want to keep track of what's happening on this podcast. Maybe you don't listen to it every week. Or you just kind of check in every now and then to see what's going on. Sign up for the newsletter. I have a newsletter for this show, and it comes out once a month, and it has a collection of what was on the show over the past month. And when I have thoughts and musings, I will put them in there as well. Now, you know what I like about this whole coronavirus thing? I mean, there's not much to like about it, is there? It's all over the headlines. People are a little nervous about it. It's also quite dangerous. So there's not much to like about it. But one thing that I do like about it is that when people are freaking out about something like this, there's always a few people who have lighthearted way of looking at the whole situation, and that's exactly what we've seen. I want to tell you about two cases that I saw this last week that made me laugh, and I think that's what we need to do when something like this is going on, right? We need to laugh. And the first one is Edeka, a supermarket chain here in Germany, put together a Corona survival kit. And what it is... So it looks like some supplies. What is this? I can't really see what... It looks like some medication of some kind. And then there's a hand sanitizer in there. And of course, a bottle of Corona, because coronavirus, get it? It's quite funny. But what made it even funnier to me was that my colleague pointed out that this hand sanitizer that they put in the package is antibacterial. So it's not even going to help you against viruses. But well played, Edeka. That was quite humorous. The other thing that I saw was on a website called boardinmunich.com. They reported on an ice dealer an ice cream dealer, not an ice dealer. That's very, very German of you, Sean. In Munich, there's an ice cream dealer who's called Der verrückte Eismacher, who've already made horrifying flavors, apparently, like with things like Weisswurst and Döner and Augustiner beer flavored ice creams. Can you imagine? They've unveiled, according to the article, their latest creation, a Corona ice mit Limettentröpfchen infection. A Corona ice cream with lime droplet infection. And if you look at the photograph, it looks like a virus. I'm not sure I would feel comfortable eating it. And of course, there's a Corona bottle in that as well. And if anything, you would think that Corona had gotten, the Corona beer had gotten good advertising out of all of this, but they really haven't. I read somewhere, or someone was telling me that their sales have dropped. I don't know if this is true. I haven't fact-checked this. I'm just shooting my mouth off right now, but maybe someone can get back to me and tell me if that's true. But apparently, coronavirus has negatively affected the sales of Corona. Come on, people. Why? My guest this week is someone who I've worked together for 2 years with now, and she is Natalie from the UK, and she has recently made the decision that she wants to move back to the UK. And for a while, I've absolutely wanted to get her on my podcast, but now I definitely have to before she goes, because she's a funny person, and she's also very introspective. She has a lot of opinions about a lot of different things. And I wanted to speak to her about her experience in Germany and specifically what made her now decide after 11 years in the country to go back home. So Natalie came to Germany for the first time in her 20s for what's called a sandwich year. And then she went back to the UK. And then I think she came back for about 6 months before going back to the UK to work in London for a while, before she realized that she didn't want to be there anymore. She would rather be in Germany, at which point she came back. She had some difficult times in the beginning when she came back to Germany. But once she got started and got a decent job, then she made Germany her home. So I wanted to find out what made her decide that she wants to leave. I wanted to find out what she's going to miss about Germany. And it turned out to be more of a discussion about what she's not going to miss. And we even cover jousting. I mean, how many podcasts are you going to hear about jousting? Although I say that, and there's probably a jousting podcast out there. This is not the point. Here's Natalie from the UK. So was there a point where Germany felt like home to you, or has it never really felt like home?
That's a difficult one. I guess it depends how you define home.
Yeah.
I guess for me, it's like if you don't want to be anywhere else, then it's home. So, and I think I have had that feeling, and I still do to some extent. But the last maybe 3 years, I've been starting to feel like it's not, I do want to be somewhere else now. And people asked me in the past when I was here, like, would you ever go back home?
Yeah.
And I would often say, I don't think I would, but I would maybe go somewhere else. And I don't know why I said that, but I think I was always open to adventure and learning. Like, love learning new things. And I often said I don't want to go back to something that I know so well, because I feel like I would get bored or something.
But now it's kind of like you're going to be a foreigner there.
Kind of. I guess I've been away for so long that I will be like still getting to know my own country. But also I'm kind of ready to not have to figure stuff out anymore.
Yeah.
I think my mind's ready to slow down a bit. So I don't know. I'll tell you that when I'm a year after I've been living there.
Gonna have to catch up with you and see how you're doing. Those people that you had around you in the beginning, were they Germans specifically, or were they international people? International.
It was actually a mix. So actually I remember the first person at my the first job when I was 20, it was a kind of older lady, and she was English. And actually my boss at the time was also English. So I had an immediate, they were there if I needed them, but they pushed me to speak German, actually, because I needed to learn it. So they were quite harsh with that, but that was good. I like that. Again, it's a very mixed group. And actually one of the good things was that they had this Praktikanten-Stammtisch. So the Stammtisch is I don't know how you translate in that English.
It's like a coming together table.
Yeah. Literally local
it's
table.
It's a meetup. It's basically a meetup.
It's a good word. So it was like a meetup for all of the interns there.
Yeah.
And that was mixed. And actually some of the people there, that's how I probably learned the most of my German, because it was in German. You had to speak German. And there was actually one guy there who's a boyfriend of one of my good friends now. So they got together, and they've been together since they were 21, or she was 21 or something. They're still together. They have a kid together.
Right.
And he was like one of the first people he was forcing me to speak German. But like, I'm kind of thankful for that, because that's what got
it drives
me
you
to
crazy
level.
at the time. Those people drive you crazy at the time. But later on you think, thank goodness, because otherwise I wouldn't have learned so fast.
And I think that really helped me to integrate, but it also helped me to have still the international and the English as a way to express my real personality. Because I still find now I don't like myself as much in German when I speak German. Like, I feel like insecure, and I can't really fully get my point across sometimes, and I then get frustrated.
Right.
And it comes across as, I don't know how it comes across, but I prefer myself speaking English because I can express myself better.
Yeah.
I think I'm funnier.
Well, we'll decide about that.
Exactly.
Yes, you are funny. You're very funny.
My own interpretation of it. But
I find I'm very funny. And you're also very modest.
Hilarious. No, but I don't know. I feel more confident maybe, and I feel like then maybe I'm more likable.
There's a lot to be said about being able to express yourself in the nuances of what you're trying to say. Like, really get the exact word to describe what you're trying to get across. Because I feel with German, I feel exactly the same as you. I feel like I'm not funny at all in German. I'm funny for the wrong reasons, because I'm saying weird shit.
Listen to that guy.
So people will kind of laugh at you, but it's not because you were trying to be funny. It's just,
I can't judge that because we speak in English.
We do speak in English,
but I see you actually sometimes talking to people in German, and then you switch to English to be funny sometimes too, I feel. If
there's a joke to be made, I do, but it's something I need to stop doing, because I've noticed it as well, that when I'm trying to express something serious, I switch to English in meetings. If I'm really feeling strongly about a point, I switch to English, because everyone around me understands English, and I can express myself far better. But I need to stop that, because that's the level I'm at now, where that's where I should be learning. The next level of pushing through that and learning that expression. But I'm too lazy, Natalie.
Cop out.
Yeah, it's because it is a cop out, but because But it's also because you want to express yourself. You want to get the point across, and sometimes you're desperate to get the point across.
But it's hard in a business setting, I think, as well, because you are on the back foot if you can't express yourself in the way you want to.
Yeah.
And so it is difficult, and I understand those situations as well. I had to have quite a bit of coaching in that in my last company, because I was working a lot more in German. And so I recognized that was a weakness of mine. So I went through quite a serious, coaching thing to get it down.
Mm-hmm.
But I still would rather do it in English.
Yeah. It's the same for me. It's the same for me, yeah. So basically your time, you want to have a sip of your beer, by the way.
Oh, I can, yeah.
I just noticed that you've hardly taken a sip.
I didn't want to.
Feel free.
Tasty.
Oh. I'm going to leave all of this in.
I'm going to miss beer. Actually, it's German beer? I'm totally going to miss German beer. British beer is rubbish. Well, actually, that's not true. There are some really good British ales.
Yeah.
So I do like ale.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer the beer with flavour.
Yeah.
And so there are a lot of IPAs now in the UK and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to that. But the beer here is,
In Germany, it almost doesn't matter what beer you have because they're all so good. I mean, there's one or two that I would say that's terrible beer, but generally the beer is really good here.
Yeah, and I'm not a massive beer fan.
Doesn't sound like it, Natalie.
But since living here, it's something about the summer and I don't know.
I've always loved beer, but there's something about beer in a beer garden with beautiful weather, or you're sitting at the side of a river or something. It just takes the beer to a whole new level.
And that's very German, and that's something that I guess
you miss. Yeah. What else will you miss?
Ooh, probably the weather. I mean,
I guess that only a Brit could say that.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's going to be raining a lot more when I go home.
Yeah.
What would I miss? It's a hard question. Because I'm not going to miss. I can tell you what I'm not going to miss.
Yeah, let's hear what you're not going to miss. Let's go. That sounds like a way more fun discussion than this. What are you not going to miss?
Out of that will come what I will miss. But I'm not going to miss supermarkets.
Oh, yeah.
Supermarkets here drive me insane.
You'll have someone to pack your bags, right?
So they are, oh my God. Supermarkets in the UK, you have about 200 tills, not the one.
Tills.
What do you call them?
I call them tills too. I think the Americans call them cash registers.
Yeah. Checkouts, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're not they've got 2 meters worth of space where you can pack, not I don't know, 30 centimeters or whatever it is, and they're chucking your stuff off the end of the...
You've got all the space. You lie on it while you're packing the stuff in.
And sometimes they have people packing your bags. Yeah. They ask you, do you want help packing your bags?
Why? Yes, I do.
This is what I mean. They ask you politely. Yeah. Just an example yesterday in the supermarket, perfect timing for this podcast, I thought, is I went to pay with card, wireless card. So, when you just put the card on there, wireless. Yeah. This is also amazing
this
in Germany.
NFC or whatever.
This is brand new technology. Yeah. Just you put your card there and it does it. And anyway, it did it. It beeped. And then this time it came up with, I had to put in my card number or something. And I said, I've never seen this before. Mm-hmm. Anyway, the cashier didn't flinch. She was like, well, you've got to put in your PIN or something. And I was like, okay. And she said, you've got to put it in the machine. Yeah. Right? Didn't kind of make a nice friendly joke to make me feel at ease and be like, technology, you know?
No.
No small talk or whatever. Just get it in the hole and put your PIN in. And I was like, all right, lady. Jesus.
You're just a cash assistant. Calm down.
I felt so uncomfortable because I was like, there's people there, and I was taking more time.
It just fills you with anxiety when those moments happen. It is incredible because you're not getting support from this person, and they'll never turn to the people behind you going, don't worry, just a second. We just have to sort something out there. It's like she's on their side of the people who are waiting for you.
Oh, wow. I don't know whose side she's on.
She's on her own side.
She's just just get it done. It's just not my problem. But this is the kind of, and I don't know if it's Franconia. I've heard some people say it is. But the lack of friendliness or willingness to help you achieve something. And actually that's the idea of competitive competitors. By the way, if you're not friendly to me, I could go to the other shop. But that just doesn't come into their heads.
No. because they know that the other shop is just as
Yeah,
unfriendly.
exactly. It's all the same. Doesn't
Like,
matter.
where are you going to go, lady?
England.
And
That's where I'm going.
I'm going to go to a different country.
I am going to miss, not going to miss the supermarket experience.
Yeah. It's always, I love when we either go back to South Africa or to the USA because I just
Right?
want to go to the supermarket, want
Yeah.
to do shopping because it's just such a pleasure.
And sometimes I'm like, because I don't know, I'm quite introverted. I don't need people talking to me all the time. And I always find it a little bit weird because like, how are you? Like they'll ask quick questions sometimes about what you're buying and stuff too, just for small talk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know why you want to know this.
Like, why are we talking about this?
I feel uncomfortable. But, but there's still a balance in that they're actually trying and they're being nice. Like, and actually, I feel like they're enjoying their job more if they're doing that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel sorry for the people here behind the cash just doing their stuff.
Yeah.
And not really having any kind of emotional attachment to it or being friendly. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it is. What else won't you miss, Natalie? 'Cause this is fun. Let's get you into a rant.
What else would I miss? Paying for things. Just general inconvenience of stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like, you can pay by card everywhere in the UK.
Yes.
Okay? Maybe that's scary to people, but it's very convenient.
It's the rest of the world, actually.
It's probably the rest of the world.
The rest of the world you can
You're
pay by
right.
card.
So, yeah, here they frequently ask for cash. You can only pay by cash. Now, that kind of screams something to me. They're avoiding the tax.
Yes. I always thought it was because they didn't want to get people into debt. But of course, they're not. The Germans are not that altruistic. It's because of the tax. There's a whole tax implication and stuff that I didn't realize before. Yeah.
I feel like that's the reason. Now, I don't know, because I feel like Germans are very law-abiding, and that would be probably not cool if they, went under the radar with their tax. But still, it's quite inconvenient. And I've got a friend of mine who, I don't know, she's half German and she's been here for however many years now. And she'll know when, I'm not going to name her name, but she'll know who she is.
You know who you are.
And when we go to a restaurant, she always gets upset if we can't pay by card. And when she pays by card, she means credit card.
Yeah.
But she knows by now that this is not likely to happen. So the absolute minimum is EC card, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
And then, but she's always like, I want to put it on the credit card. And I know. And she's like, oh. Every time.
I'm getting upset every time. I'm like purposely getting upset now.
I love it.
That's
and
wonderful.
she just makes a scene, and I'm just like, yeah, exactly. This is damn inconvenient. That's what that is. I'm not going to pay for my food now. I'm just going. But
That's
so
great.
that's upsetting. But I just remembered another thing that I won't miss.
Okay.
Is driving here and giving way to the right
Oh, yeah.
nonsense.
Do you know, nonsense, this poppycock.
It is poppycock. Do you know this rule?
Yes, but I'll be honest, this is something I don't like admitting, but I'm going to admit it on a podcast.
Okay.
I drove for 2 years in Germany before I found out that rule.
That's brilliant.
So the rule is when you're driving on a road, if there's a road coming on the right, coming out of the right-hand side, that road gets right of way. So you have to slow down. It's almost like you're at an imaginary stop street. You stop to let a car that might be coming from the right-hand side go. I had no idea about this. I don't know how many accidents I nearly caused just driving down roads where cars were coming out the right-hand side. And when I found it out, I was genuinely shocked because I was like, I've been
Could have had a
absolute
serious
reckless
accident.
mess on the roads.
No,
For 2
this
years.
rule is just nonsense.
It is nonsense, though. It is
I'm sorry.
nonsense.
Like, they
Sorry,
have to have
Germany.
a diamond that says this is an exception to
Yeah,
the rule. When
exactly.
you have an exception to the rule, it's not helpful. I saw when you're driving, I saw today a red traffic light and then a green arrow,
Yeah.
which I assume only means ignore the red light, go whenever you want.
But who knows for
And
sure,
I was
right?
like, but red light means red light. Everywhere else,
Confusing.
you can't have exceptions to the rule on the road
No,
when
I
people are
agree.
in giant machines.
Yeah. How does it work in the UK?
Perfectly
You
well.
just like have stop streets because we have stop
Yes.
streets, and then if there's a road, generally the roads coming up from both sides have caution signs, like yield signs, where you have to. If you're coming on those roads, you slow
Yeah.
down. But there's a big sign saying
This is-
you have to slow down.
Yes,
you know
but
that
it's
you have to
common
slow down.
sense. You're
Yeah.
coming to a road that's kind of, I don't know, what do you say, adjacent, is that? Or like
Yeah, perpendicular.
thank you.
English
What
word.
adjacent means. But anyway, where you kind of have to slow down
Yes.
to pull into, you kind of have to look both ways to turn on. And if you have to do that, then you should be giving way, not me, who's going straight on a road, thinking I can go straight because that person's waiting. Yeah, and because I think there are more accidents caused by this. And we have roundabouts in the UK, to answer your question. Roundabouts solve everything.
Yeah.
They keep the flow of traffic.
Yeah. They're actually brilliant.
Yeah, clever. I looked up, by the way, where this comes from because I was so fascinated by it.
Give way to the right.
This is what I mean. You have to stay open-minded. I know I'm saying it's rubbish, but there must be a reason.
Yeah.
In the same way, there must be a reason we drive on the left-hand side of the road, which I will get to.
All right.
But literally, the reason for the give way to the right, it comes from boating, sailing. When you're on the water, you have to give way to the right.
Okay.
So that
was not aware of that.
No, it's amazing. That works on the water. Why not take that and transfer it to the roads?
Yeah.
Maybe when you had like 10 cars on the road, but now there's
And Germany does not have that much coastline. There's a few rivers and like a like ocean up north, I guess, a sea.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Germany.
Yeah.
What do you do?
But it's not just Germany, I don't think. I think it's
Europe?
Is it other European
Could
countries?
be. I have no idea.
Maybe.
Like I said, this is a newish rule for me.
Yeah. But yeah, I will not miss that because I almost had an accident the other day because I was like, I don't know
if it's me or...
because you're always so hesitant.
Yeah. I still forget about it sometimes.
Anyway, do you know about the left-hand thing? You might know this because you drive on the left in South Africa?
In South Africa, they drive on the left-hand side.
Do you know why? Do you know where it comes
because
from?
Because of something about the sword hand or something. Yes. Is that true?
Yeah. It comes from the, when you used to joust.
Yes, as one did. Like you remember when we used to joust?
Jousting.
Yes.
Anyway, that is why. Yeah, your sword hand. Hold on, your sword hand's your right hand usually.
Okay.
So and then you're kind of approaching each other.
You would have to. Oh, that's okay.
You have to be on the left of them to get them.
Yeah. I can see you're.
Do you get them?
I can see you're a champion jouster. Clearly, very well versed in this jousting business.
Anyway, that's where that comes from.
Interesting.
I'm always interested in where things come from because it has to have some kind of logic.
Yeah. So if you seem like you've had quite a happy time here, like a good decade and a bit. Mm-hmm. So what is the reason for heading back now? What is the thing that actually tipped you in the other direction of heading back?
I don't know. I think it was, it started to change. Some friends that I made here started leaving. And also some friends that I still have here have children and they've got their own families and their own lives. And I was just like, I don't really have that. And I think it was probably when I split up with my last boyfriend that I realized, I'm kind of alone now. And I was like, what can I do about that? And, I'm still included in my friends. They include me all the time and everything. And I love kids, so I love hanging out with them and stuff, even with their kids.
I can imagine.
But they just have a different focus, which they should have. And again, some of my good friends have moved away. Some of them temporary, and they're coming back. But I started to feel like there's something missing, and that was the bit I was saying about I was maybe not feeling so much at home because I felt like there was something lacking, and potentially it was a partner.
Yeah.
And I have tried to date like Germans or any actually nationality other than English.
Yeah.
But I need a kind of connection on how do you say it? Like this kind of emotional connection is quite important to me. And I think I can only really achieve that with English, with my native language, because I can only really I feel like I can express myself more in the language. So it's always been a bit tricky because when I meet someone who's German, obviously I speak German. So then we kind of speak German and I don't know.
It's just not.
It doesn't get to the point that I want it to get to.
So the language for you is almost like an emotional barrier because you need to break through that emotional barrier. You need to be connecting on a very specific level.
I think so. At least that's what I've experienced. Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah,
and maybe even a cultural level too, because even though I've dated like people who have spoken really good English, there's still been something lacking, and I don't know. I can't explain it, but anyway.
But you also wouldn't know if it's because of the language or because of the person. It could be.
True.
It could just be that the people
we couldn't
weren't
connect.
just wouldn't have connected even if you were both in the same language. So
could have
who
also
knows?
been me.
Could be you.
Just
Pretty sure it's not, but it could
have
be
been
you.
several things.
Yeah, these things are never quite clear cut.
No, and to be honest, it's hard to meet people in Germany too. So one thing that I've noticed, and actually my American friend or ex-colleague of mine, she's like this beautiful woman and very confident. And she was here when we were out in a bar one day after work, and she said, "No one's hitting on me. What's going on?" And I was like, "Oh my God." She was really disturbed that no one was chatting her up. Yeah. And she was like, "What?" And so like I feel like that kind of says it all, really, that there wasn't really that approach from people. So I never really had the opportunity to get to know anyone because
no one was hitting on you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any barriers. So I go up to people or whatever if I like them anyway. But still, it's just like a different culture and a different. Also, just going out here is a different way of going out and socializing.
Yeah.
So in the UK, you go out, and I'll get back to the point that you were making, but that I was trying to make. But in the UK, you go out as like two separate, like male and female groups go out together. And then typically there's like stuff happens, like you go on the pool, we say.
Okay.
To find...
On the pool?
On the pool. Have you heard that?
Never heard it before.
Well, that may be old school now. I may be going back and learning new language.
Okay.
But on the pool means you're going out to find someone to get with.
On the pool. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the pool. So
Natalie's on the pool again.
This obviously, I was living there when I was a student, right?
Yeah, sure.
I wouldn't be doing that now.
You wouldn't go on the pool now. No. Modern Natalie doesn't go on the pool.
Probably not. And anyway,
probably not.
No. So it's like, you're going out as groups of like girls, groups of guys.
Yeah.
So you're more likely to meet the opposite sex. And here you go out as a mixed group, you're socializing together.
Yeah.
You're not going out to meet randoms or anything. You're going out to socialize with those group of friends. Yeah. And so it's very different in how you meet people and whatnot. And anyway, so here it's very difficult, I think, to maybe make those connections. And maybe I just didn't want to make the connections. And then it just so happens that anyway, I met somebody from the UK in about March this year. We started kind of seeing each other more, and that sped up my decision to go back, because that's everything I want really, is to have someone that I can be with. And also I like the idea of having my family around again. I started to miss my family more. So my sister has 2 kids and I don't get to see them much. So and I really enjoy spending time with them.
Sure.
And I thought, you know what, I could probably go. I could start to visualize myself being there again and being around. And I started to miss other things, cultural things and foods. And
so just kind of started building up that eventually you were saying, hey, it's time to go back.
Yeah.
And did you expect that would happen? Is that you didn't think that would be something that would happen eventually?
No, not at all. But so, I mean, I always said I would never consider going back or go somewhere else. And I don't know why I thought that. And I can't really tell you why it changed for me.
Okay.
It's a difficult one.
So how would you say your time in Germany has changed you? I mean, it's a big question because it's been a long time, and that includes part of your 20s, your 30s. Yes. And that is a time of change anyway, even without being in another country. But is there anything that you could attribute to Germany that's changed you?
I know I will always remember when I was at my my dad's fiancée at the time, so her hen party. We went somewhere and I didn't want to pay the service charge because the service was rubbish. And I was like, well, actually, I don't have to pay this. So, and I, very un-British-like, complained, and I said, I'm sorry, I'm not paying the service charge. Yeah. And my sister, I remember her going, oh my God, you're so German. But I took that as, I was being direct and saying how I felt about it. And actually, I thought I was always kind of like that. But it was interesting how she associated it with that. So I don't know if it's helped me to bring out that side of me more, because I like that though about Germany, that there is this kind of element of directness and you know where you stand. So yeah, I'd say in that aspect I've clearly changed, at least from my sister's perspective anyway. I'm not so sure. I felt like actually the first time I was here, when my 2021, that time, I was quite a shy, reserved person. And I feel like it helped me to become, when I came back, I felt much more confident. I felt like I can speak another language. I've managed to do all of this over the past year on my own. And I've come out the other side and I felt like stronger for it. So I think that's kind of continued because I've put myself through new situations and
you have to put yourself out there.
Yeah. So I feel like that if anything else, I've taught myself I can handle stuff wherever it is. And so, yeah, probably that.
Just along the lines of that, I like the feeling of going back home because once you've dealt with things here and everything is a mission. Going to the store is a mission. Going to the bank is a mission. And then when I go back to South Africa, I'm like, it's like a superpower.
Yeah.
I can speak these people's language. I go in there and sometimes before I go into the store, I'm thinking of how I'm planning the conversation in my head. So I'm like, say, okay, guten Tag. And then I'm going to ask for it in this way. And I'm formulating everything. I'm like, I don't even have to think about that. I can just walk in and talk to these people because I don't have to plan anything.
Yeah. It's such a nice feeling, isn't it?
It is. It's like a superpower. It feels like a superpower.
This is the feeling that I like, and I'm concerned that when I'm living there, then I won't have that. Like I'd be taking it for granted almost then.
Yeah,
because
maybe, maybe. But I think you've lived here long enough to not necessarily take it for granted. We're running out of time, but one of the things that I did want to ask is, what does it feel like? Because you're obviously excited. You made this decision. You're heading back. You're putting things in place. You're moving down that road. But you got some goodbyes coming up. You got some. How's that feeling? Are you dreading it?
Don't say that word.
Goodbyes.
Yeah. I try not to think about it at the moment. Like my mind's I'm blocking that out. And I've had a few moments actually because some of the colleagues here from who work remotely were here to visit and they were saying goodbye because I'm not going to see them again. Yeah. And I was like on the edge, I just had to switch off.
And there's going to be a lot of that in the next few months.
Yeah, I'm really not looking forward to that bit. But I'm quite good at blocking things out and to a certain point. And then once they're here, God knows, if it's going to just all come out in a huge mess.
Yeah. So you're just putting it off for now.
That. I'm putting it off for now. And I may do a runner. So I don't have to.
Interesting. We're going to get you before you just disappear. Where's
so
Natalie gone? No, she's gone.
With it. Yeah. I'm kind of thinking about it. I mean, I have arranged for like a little goodbye party.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people who've been part of my journey, like over the 11 years. I've met a lot of people, different companies I've worked at. I used to do this expat meetup group and so I have a lot of people I know here. Yeah. And they kind of almost, in fact, when I posted it on my page, they were like, we need to arrange a party. So, people almost are expecting it. Yeah. Because they want to say goodbye to me, and I'm kind of the person I like to give people what they want.
And I guess that I didn't think about that because obviously I want to say goodbye to you. People want to say goodbye to you, but from your point of view, it's 1,000 goodbyes. Yeah. And everyone is an emotional event or an emotional thing. Yes. I never thought about that because, that is quite emotionally taxing for the person that's getting said goodbye to, I guess.
So, and I kind of want that party to be like not really a goodbye. Like I want it just to be
a party.
And because I don't like to be the center of attention. I just want everyone to get together and be like,
okay, you're not dying, Natalie. Calm down.
Well, that's what it feels like a little bit, right? But it's also just I'm not I'm going to be back and I'll be visiting all the time, so it's not like that big a deal. No. So I just want to have everyone together in one room and be like, cool, you're all the people that like I've met through the years here, and you've all had some impact on my life, really. Yeah,
I'm busy that day.
So I'm excited about that. How rude.
So to finish off, Natalie, the question that I always ask people that come on the show is, what advice do you have for people? So I'm going to ask you, what advice do you have for people in the same position as you when you came when you were, let's say the first time, the 20-year-old Natalie, and you're coming to Germany and it's a big adventure, what's the best piece of advice you could offer?
Pooh.
All right, there we go. That's all
Yeah,
the time we have.
that's it.
Words
We're
of
done.
wisdom from Natalie.
Well, I mean, to be fair, these people now have smartphones and everything, everything else.
There we go. Don't need any help. Good luck, kids.
Just rely on your
Google Maps, WhatsApp, and Facebook. You're set.
Yeah.
We
Figure
didn't
it
have
out.
that.
God.
We didn't have that.
You can ask Google what to do.
I
Don't
came
ask
here-
me.
I came here and I had to use maps, like fold-out maps, big paper maps
Yeah,
and
exactly.
books.
What? Really?
You get no advice, kids. You're right, Natalie. Screw you guys.
Figure it out.
You've got everything. Okay.
Everyone figures stuff out their own way.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess it's like it depends on the person. And you, like I say, you do all figure it out in your own way and you'll find a way. But I definitely think these expat groups that I was involved in, any kind of group really, where you're integrating, because these expat groups, by the way, the English Stammtisch that I did was not just expats, it was also Germans, which I liked about that, because there was often, expats arranging language exchange with Germans so they could improve their German. So there was all of that going on. And so that really helped me at least to integrate. So I would say
do that. Get to those meetups.
Try and find somewhere that offers that.
Cool.
That's not very helpful, I know.
No, I think it is very helpful.
Okay.
I think it is very helpful. I think it's a very valuable way of meeting people in a casual environment, and the first people you'll meet are other international people, and like you were saying, you need those people in the beginning. Where can people find you if you want people to find you? Are you on Instagram?
That sounds cryptic.
Some people don't want to be found.
I am on Instagram.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
My name on there is not very...
What is it, like Natalie P1783?
No, it's just a bit embarrassing. So my surname is Pratt.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd spice it up a bit by making it Prattalicious. I don't know why.
I didn't even notice that you called Prattalicious on Instagram.
Yeah. Prattalicious. And I've got no idea why. When I was thinking that, maybe I don't know.
All right. No,
Anyway.
it's a cool hip-hop name, I guess. Prattalicious. You also have a website. You used to blog about nutrition. Eat with Your Belly, right?
Yes.
And you've got a Facebook page. Is that still in operation? Do you want to send people there?
Yeah, I do. I haven't blogged there much. I haven't blogged there for a while, to be honest. I post things on Facebook probably more than the blog. But
yes, you do.
if you want to check it out, you
Yeah,
can.
Eat with Your Belly. Check it out.
Eat
Don't
with Your
check it out.
Belly.
Nelly doesn't care. Doesn't matter to
Whatever.
Prattalicious.
No.
With a name like that, do you think they care? No. Natalie, thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it. It's such a fun talk. I'm like smiling the whole time.
Well, that's good.
It was a lot of fun. Thanks for coming on.
No worries.
All right, that's it for this week. If you want to follow me on all of the social medias, go to thegermanyexperience.de/subscribe. You'll have links to latest episodes, links to where you can subscribe to this podcast, and a link to sign up to my newsletter, like I mentioned at the top of the show, and also to all of my social media accounts, where you can hear all of the things that I have to say on social media. Music in this episode, theme song by my band, 10 Cent Janes. Other music in the episode, Until the End by Ryan Anderson. I'll speak to you next week. Auf Wiederhören.